Okay, as you rightly introduced, today we are going to discuss a vital topic that is dear to our continent: how to de-risk investment opportunities in Africa. Before our guest speaker, before I invite him on board, I will be making a brief introduction on the theme of discussion. So my presentation will just be like facilitation section on the team, while our speaker, Mr. Kevin from Kenya, will come on board for the fireside discussion. So I will be sharing my screen now to facilitate my section. Thank you. So thank you very much. As I earlier said, the theme of today is to focus more on policy, trust, and transparency. I have this quote I want to begin with. The greatest risk in Africa is not about investment. I have this belief. It's about misunderstanding. I believe so many people or foreigners, investors aside Africa, find this difficult to understand our landscape, to understand our policies, to see what we are doing. And that has been a major risk because people are always scared of what they don't understand. So when we have this misunderstanding, mismatch on understanding between us and the people we are owing to come in to invest in Africa. So it's the biggest risk I have foreseen. So the interesting story around African real estate, housing infrastructure, and real estate ecosystem is that it is projected by 2050, over 1.5 billion of our population will be living in urban cities. It means that our urbanization is very high. Concentrating in urban region only, by 2050, what we have now is around 850 million to 900 million urban population of Africa. So if in 2050 we are having double of that, it means that there is a huge potential in African real estate industry. And with that, we look at the demand. If you look at the housing deficit in Africa generally, we have over 50 million housing deficit in Africa. Kenya alone has 2 million. Nigeria are over 28 million, which is the highest in Africa. We have Rwanda 2 million, and we have Ghana between 3 to 4 million deficit. So these are huge opportunities, and it has been estimated that the real estate in Africa has market potential of 1.5 trillion, which is a huge amount of money. So we have high demand and high risk. What are the risks? We have policy inconsistencies. We have lack of transparency. According to GIL, only 3 African countries are transparent enough in real estate industry. So we have this risk. We have the demand. We have the risk that is there. So now, when we talk of the policy, I don't want us to say government should do this, government should do that. We need policies that can be easily predictable so that our investors are only scared of after today what will happen tomorrow. So we need policies that are stable, policies that don't just change, policies that are consistent, policies that are long-term, policies that investors can make predictable decision upon. So these are policies we have. Presently, we have inconsistent policies across African countries. So we need to advocate for how we can have predictable policies that can woo in investors to Africa. So as I said, investors don't fear tough rules, because when the rules are tough, there will be strategies of how to navigate those rules. So most people fear are changing rules that it is given today, tomorrow it has been change again. And remember what Center for Affordable Housing Finance, the CAHF, said in 2023 that Africa, 30% of African country doesn't have housing framework. They don't have framework that people can make reference. So without framework, how can we even form a long-term policies around this? Then the next thing we have to talk about today is trust. Trust is the currency of development anywhere, and to me, it is an invisible infrastructure that if it is properly harnessed, the African country will be liberated. 60% of institutional investors rank governance risk as top concern, according to PwC in 2023. So the people lost confidence in our system. And when our system doesn't have that confidence, it's something that do with reputation, credibility. Once we lose it, that is all. We can attract enough investors that we demand for. We cannot unlock that $1.5 trillion economy. Then we talk about transparency, which is the true investment magnet. No, nobody is how we have the confidence to put their money where they are not sure of, what they don't know what is happening in a situation where something is opaque, a trust cannot be built. So we need transparency. You see,
I think he's experiencing a network glitch. He'll be back very soon.
yourself. Please kindly confirm you can hear me. Okay, thank you. Sorry for that network glitch. As I said earlier, I'm having a bit network challenge here. So, so that was that was on transparency. Then also, the transparency gap that we have in Africa cost us an estimated amount of $30 billion annually, according to UN Habitat in 2024. So you from where I'm coming from, you see the bottlenecks we are having, which will centered around the discussion we are going to have today. And also, what I believe is that countries like Kenya, Rwanda are taking front row in digitalizing the housing sector. And we believe that when we leverage technology, we digitalize our land registering processes, and we have an open data source that we're able to facilitate land titling without bottleneck. Fraud and corruption will reduce. And also, if we can incorporate blockchain and GIS to track ownership and also streamline development approval processes, we can make a headway. So, finally, this is what I believe at the end of the day, we should be able to come up with the way forward where we can have institutionalize our housing policy beyond politics. People should not make policies based on political interest. We should have policies that speak to our problem and our demand. And also, we should professionalize development practices, because when we professionalize it, people have something to lose. Development practices, housing, infrastructure, and urban development, we follow ethical principles, and issue of policy, trust, and transparency will become things of the past. Then we should advocate for digitalizing our land processes, titling, approval process, all of them. We should advocate for it, because when we reduce human interference in our housing housing processes, we are going to have this breakthrough that we all advocate for. And finally, we should promote research, data sharing, and investor education across Africa. In any country you found yourself, promote research, promote knowledge, promote insight analysis of situation, and also let's share data, like as we are doing today. We show data across among ourselves to know real value that we have. And also, we should do investors education. Let's talk good of Africa. Let's enlighten non-Africans about African potential, and let's put ourselves out there in the global perspective. And I believe that if we can fix the problem of trust, which is the currency of development, I believe capital will flow. And if we can fix issue of transparency, the partnership that will attract to Africa will multiply. So this is an icebreaker to the panel we are going to have. So thank you very much for listening. At this